The aroma of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon filled the small, cozy diner on the outskirts of Los Angeles. The place was buzzing with its usual morning crowd, a mix of regulars and travelers passing through. Among the clatter of plates and hum of conversations, Maya, a young black waitress in her late 20s, moved swiftly between tables. She wore a warm smile despite the long hours she'd been pulling to make ends meet. Maya had dreams, big ones. She wanted to open her own bakery someday, inspired by the recipes her grandmother had taught her as a child. But dreams felt distant when rent was overdue, and the bills kept piling up. Today, however, felt different. Maybe it was the crispness in the air, or the unexpected spark of hope she felt deep down. She couldn't quite place it, but there was a peculiar energy in the diner. "Maya, table 3. The gruff voice of her manager broke through her thoughts. "Got it, Mr. Turner," Maya replied, balancing 2 plates of pancakes as she gracefully made her way across the room. Table 3 was tucked into the corner, a favorite spot for regulars who sought a quiet breakfast. When she approached, she noticed an elderly man seated alone. He was dressed in a simple yet elegant button-up shirt and jeans. A baseball cap shaded much of his face, but his piercing eyes hinted at a story far greater than the modest attire suggested. "Good morning, sir," Maya greeted, setting down a steaming cup of coffee before him. "What can I get started for you today?" The man looked up, and for a brief moment, Maya froze. Those eyes seemed familiar, as though they carried the weight of countless tales and adventures. He offered a kind smile before speaking, his voice soft yet commanding. "Just a coffee for now, miss. And maybe some toast. Lightly buttered, if you don't mind." "Of course, sir," Maya replied, quickly jotting down the order and hurrying back to the kitchen. As she worked, she couldn't shake the feeling that she knew him from somewhere. "Who's the guy at 3? Her co-worker Lisa whispered, nudging Maya. "I don't know," Maya replied, glancing back at the corner table. "But there's something about him. He seems familiar." The mystery of the man at table 3 occupied her mind as she worked. When she returned with his toast, he thanked her warmly and struck up a conversation. "You've got a way about you," he said, breaking off a piece of toast. "A way?" Maya asked, puzzled. "Yeah, you make people feel seen, heard." "That's rare," the man explained, his words carrying a sincerity that made Maya's chest tighten. "Thank you," she managed, her voice barely above a whisper. As the hours passed, the diner began to clear out. Maya noticed the man stayed longer than most, sipping his coffee and occasionally glancing out the window. When he finally rose to leave, he called her over to settle the bill. "How much do I owe you?" he asked, pulling a weathered wallet from his pocket. "Just $4.50, sir," Maya replied. The man handed her a $20 bill. "Keep the change," he said, standing to leave. "Thank you," Maya said, her smile genuine. Before walking away, the man paused, as if contemplating something. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small piece of paper. "This is for you," he said, placing it in her hand. Maya looked down at the folded note, her brow furrowing. When she glanced up again, the man was already out the door, his baseball cap pulled low. Curiosity gnawed at her as she unfolded the paper. Written in neat handwriting were words that made her heart race. "You remind me of someone I used to know. Your kindness and determination won't go unnoticed. Keep chasing your dreams. You never know who might be watching." Signed at the bottom was a name that made her gasp, Clint Eastwood. The room spun as Maya reread the note, tears welling up in her eyes. Clint Eastwood? The legendary actor and filmmaker? "Maya, are you okay?" Lisa asked, noticing her trembling hands. I think I just served Clint Eastwood," Maya stammered, holding up the note. Lisa's jaw dropped. "No way. Clint Eastwood? What did he say?" Maya read the note aloud, her voice cracking with emotion. The words felt surreal, almost too good to be true. "Wait," Lisa said, pointing to the $20 bill in Maya's hand. "Look at the back." Maya turned the bill over. and saw another message scrawled in the same handwriting. Check under the table. Her heart pounded as she hurried back to table 3. She knelt down, and there, taped to the underside, was an envelope. She pulled it free and opened it with trembling hands. Inside was a check for $10,000 and another note. For your bakery. Keep spreading kindness, Maya. The world needs it. Maya burst into tears, clutching the envelope to her chest. She looked out the window, hoping to catch a glimpse of him, but he was gone. What started as an ordinary day had turned into something magical. Clint Eastwood had not only recognized her kindness, but had also given her the means to pursue her dreams. For the first time in years, Maya felt like her dreams were within reach, and as she stood there, surrounded by the familiar hum of the diner, Maya realized one thing. Kindness, no matter how small, has the power to change lives. Hers was proof of that. In the days that followed, Maya's life began to transform in ways she had never imagined. The $10,000 check Clint Eastwood had left her wasn't just a financial blessing. It was the spark she needed to reignite her passion for baking and her dream of owning a bakery. The first thing she did was sit down with her grandmother, the woman who had taught her everything she knew about baking. "Grandma," Maya said, holding the check in her hands. "Do you remember all those recipes you taught me when I was a kid? The ones you said would make people smile no matter how hard their day was?" Her grandmother, a wise and gentle soul, nodded with a knowing smile. "I remember, child, and I always told you they weren't just recipes. They were acts of love. What's on your mind?" "I think it's time to share them with the world," Maya said, her voice brimming with determination. Together, they spent hours poring over recipes, tweaking them to perfection. Maya even created a plan for her bakery, a small, cozy space that would feel as warm and welcoming as her grandmother's kitchen. She envisioned a place where people could come not just for pastries, but for a sense of community. Word about her encounter with Clint Eastwood spread like wildfire. Customers at the diner couldn't stop talking about it, and soon local news outlets picked up the story. Reporters flocked to the diner to interview Maya, curious about her plans and the kindness she'd shown that had moved one of Hollywood's biggest stars. "Why do you think Clint Eastwood chose you?" one journalist asked during an interview. Maya paused, her thoughts drifting back to that fateful day. "I don't think it's about me," she said finally. "I think it's about kindness. It's about seeing people, not just as customers, but as human beings. I treated him like I would anyone else, and maybe that reminded him of something important. Kindness has a ripple effect, and I'm just grateful to be part of that ripple." The story caught the attention of a local entrepreneur who owned several commercial properties. Touched by Maya's vision, he offered her a discounted lease on a small storefront in the heart of the city. When Maya saw the space for the first time, tears filled her eyes. It wasn't fancy, but it was perfect. She could already imagine the smell of freshly baked bread wafting through the air and the laughter of customers sharing stories over coffee. But starting a bakery wasn't easy. Maya poured every ounce of herself into the project, working late nights and early mornings to renovate the space. She learned how to budget, navigate permits, and market her business. The process was exhausting, but every time she felt like giving up, she would pull out Clint Eastwood's note and reread his words. "Keep chasing your dreams. You never know who might be watching." Finally, after months of hard work, opening day arrived. The bakery, named Maya's Kitchen, was everything she had envisioned. The walls were adorned with photos of her grandmother's recipes, and the menu featured names inspired by her family's history. The community showed up in droves to support her. Regulars from the diner, local business owners, and even strangers who had read her story came to try her pastries and share in her success. But the most emotional moment of the day came when a sleek black car pulled up outside the bakery. Maya froze as Clint Eastwood himself stepped out, his iconic smile lighting up the room as he walked in. "I had to see it for myself," he said, shaking Maya's hand. "Mr. Eastwood, I don't even know how to thank you," Maya said, tears streaming down her face. "You've already thanked me," Clint replied, gesturing to the bustling bakery around them. This, this is your thank you. You took a little act of kindness and turned it into something extraordinary. That's the real reward. Before leaving, Clint bought a box of pastries and posed for a photo with Maya, which she hung proudly on the wall. From that day on, Maya's kitchen became a symbol of hope and resilience. Customers came not just for the food, but for the story behind it. A reminder that one small act of kindness can change everything. And as Maya looked around her bustling bakery, filled with laughter and the smell of freshly baked bread, she realized she was no longer just chasing her dreams. She was living them. A year later, Maya's story continued to inspire not just her community, but people across the country. News outlets revisited her journey, and she was invited to speak at events about her experience. She shared her message of kindness, perseverance, and the importance of treating everyone with respect, regardless of their status or appearance. Her bakery, Maya's Kitchen, thrived. It became more than a business. It was a safe haven for those in need. Maya implemented a pay-it-forward program, allowing customers to purchase meals for others who couldn't afford them. Every day, she witnessed acts of generosity that reminded her of Clint Eastwood's kindness. One day, Maya received an unexpected phone call. A producer from a major television network wanted to create a documentary about her life and her journey from being a waitress to a successful business owner. Maya hesitated at first, unsure if her story warranted such attention. "Why me?" she asked the producer during their conversation. "Because you represent hope," the producer replied. "Your story shows that small acts of kindness can ripple outwards and change lives. People need that now more than ever." The documentary, titled From Kindness to Dreams, The Maya Journey, premiered to critical acclaim. Viewers across the nation were moved by her humility, her determination, and the way she had used her opportunity to uplift others. Maya's Kitchen became a destination spot for travelers and tourists who had heard her story. People lined up to try her famous pastries, and they often left with more than just a delicious treat. They left with a renewed belief in the power of kindness. Amid her growing success, Maya never lost sight of her roots. She continued to work at the bakery alongside her staff, many of whom were individuals she had hired because they, too, needed a second chance. Formerly homeless individuals, single parents, and young adults struggling to find their way all found a supportive and welcoming workplace at Maya's Kitchen. One of the most rewarding moments came when Maya was invited to attend a charity gala in Los Angeles. To her surprise, Clint Eastwood was also in attendance. When she saw him, Maya couldn't help but smile. "Mr. Eastwood," she said, walking over to him, "I owe so much of this to you." Clint shook his head. "You don't owe me anything. You were the one who made it happen. I just gave you a nudge." By the end of the evening, Clint made another generous gesture. He pledged to donate a significant amount to expand Maya's Pay It Forward program, ensuring that her mission of helping others could reach even more people. As the years passed, Maya's influence grew. She was invited to give talks, mentor young entrepreneurs, and participate in philanthropic efforts. She even wrote a book titled Baking Dreams: How Kindness Changed My Life, which became a bestseller. Through it all, Maya remained grounded. Every morning, she opened the doors to Maya's Kitchen with the same excitement and gratitude she had felt on her first day. And every night, as she closed up shop, she reflected on the incredible journey that had brought her there. The note Clint Eastwood had left her was now framed and hung in a place of honor in the bakery. It was a daily reminder of the moment that changed everything, a moment that started with kindness and grew into something extraordinary. Maya's story became a legacy, inspiring countless others to believe in their dreams and the power of small, meaningful gestures. And though she never sought fame or recognition, Maya's impact would be felt for generations to come, a testament to what can happen when kindness meets opportunity. As Sarah read the note for the 20th time, her life felt as if it had shifted forever. Clint Eastwood's simple yet profound words carried a depth she hadn't anticipated. "Never let the world dim your shine. Your kindness and spirit are rare gifts. Keep sharing them. Expect a call from my team soon." The call, Clint mentioned, came sooner than she could have imagined. By the end of the week, Sarah was contacted by Eastwood's foundation, which supported underprivileged youth and struggling workers. She was offered a scholarship to pursue her dream of becoming a chef at a prestigious culinary school. Additionally, the foundation wanted her to serve as a goodwill ambassador, sharing her inspiring story with others. News of Clint Eastwood's act of kindness and Sarah's subsequent journey went viral. Interviews poured in, and Sarah became a symbol of resilience and hope. She used her newfound platform to advocate for fair treatment of service workers and to highlight the impact of kindness, proving how small gestures could ripple into life-altering events. Months later, Sarah stood in her very own restaurant, a vibrant, bustling space filled with laughter, warmth, and the enticing aroma of her creations. The name, Shining Star Bistro, a nod to Clint's note. Clint Eastwood himself attended the grand opening, sitting at a corner table with a quiet smile as Sarah introduced him to the crowd as her unexpected guardian angel. Her story wasn't just one of luck, it was a testament to perseverance, the power of generosity, and the profound impact of crossing paths with someone who saw potential in others. Clint's words continued to guide her, and Sarah, in turn, became an inspiration for countless others, proof that the smallest acts of kindness could indeed change the world.